Hello there. You scared the crap out of me. How did you get into my home? Well, regardless, how about we talk a little bit about my year in the STEM lab? We will start right over here. I started off the year by working in digital communications with my production of The Funk, The Whole Funk, and Nothing But The Funk. GarageBand experience where I compiled some beats that were preset and made a little ditty. It was pretty bad, not gonna lie, kinda sucked. It was very annoying, but I learned how to use GarageBand, I learned the basics, and I got my ear rolling. Continuing on, I began working on my production of Let It Grow, which was a sort of karaoke of the original from the movie The Lorax, where I had members of the STEM lab collaborate and learn some audio engineering. I used Adobe Audition to record with the Snowball microphone in the STEM lab, and I compiled the different parts of the song. Hello?
Hi, this is David from the Field Services.
It's spam. It was a lot of fun to create. Finally, in the digital communications category, we have Snoopy Jackson Westmars. My final production in the digital communications area, and it was definitely something to be proud of, which was a mashup of different songs that I created on GarageBand, and it kind of tied all of the previous endeavors I faced together in digital communications, and I was able to learn how to change the tempo of songs and match the keys, and it was definitely a fun experience and something I will probably never attempt again, but it was a fun experience for sure. Computer graphics encompasses photography for me. It all started early in the year. Took my senior photos. I was able to take the SD card in the STEM lab, and I have Adobe Lightroom available to me. Why don't I give it a shot and start learning about it? So it was definitely a new challenge for me, learning how to edit photos. I took a couple of the lessons available and learned how to edit portraits specifically, and then continued into some more lessons about landscape editing. I also learned how to use the healing brush. There was a photo with about a million gnats flying around my head. It was kind of a painstaking process, but I was able to, individually edit these bad boys out, and that was very repetitive, so I got a lot faster at using that feature and learning how to edit the individual photos through this process. I learned a lot about changing the shutter speed and aperture, different lights let into the camera. I learned a lot about that. These were all things that I had never really even known about, having just taken photos on my iPhone before, which is it does all the work for you. So getting my own camera and being able to figure out all these cool things and edit raw photos was a really cool experience and taught me a lot. So I'm very thankful that the STEM lab provided me with the software, the cameras as well, a little later in the year, which is what I'm recording on right now. It's definitely a cool thing that I will take with me into the future. While it's not a career I'm going into, it'll be a lifelong hobby and something that I can always turn to. And I could even make some money with it. So definitely happy with the computer graphics area of my e-portfolio. Video production. One of the coolest experiences I think anyone could have in high school. It is so fun to learn how to edit the footage and come up with a story or even document something that you're enthusiastic about, make a silly video. There's so much to explore with it. Probably my best production of the year, which I collaborated with Judd Demers and Ben Lindquist on, Scene. We came up with the idea to make a sort of spoof horror movie, making sure it was shot very well, getting multiple angles, and the audio production was spectacular. It pieced together really well. It was very comical. It still had that sort of student film vibe, but it was produced very well, and we were very happy with the outcome. Judd helped me learn a lot of the basics of Premiere Pro, which was this sort of big scary beast to me at the time, and helped clear a lot of things up, learning the shortcuts and whatnot of how to trim it down and line up the audio. While it's not as intuitive immediately as iMovie was, it certainly has a lot more freedom to edit, and it was really cool to learn about that stuff. Moving on, I have Want a Mint, which was a super fun, super cheesy little fight scene between Justice and I, which was really cool to film, especially with the choreography aspect and learning how to film properly with angles, and that was the first thing I edited on my own on Premiere. And finally, I have the Joseph cast interviews, which went on the final DVD of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. I didn't know that was going to be part of that. While I didn't learn a lot new from that, it was cool to see that my efforts through the year and learning about Premiere Pro and editing had amassed into something. So while I may not be going into film or anything regarding it in my future, I think what I can really pull from it is the experience, the joy that I've gained from this year, being able to make funny videos with my friends, but also learning a lot about, editing. It's not necessarily the specifics of the filming and the video production that I'm gonna, go off and use in the rest of my life, but I certainly have the memories. I know that anyone and everyone who takes STEM can go off into their lives, and even if they aren't going into a STEM field, can say that they gained something really special from the class. That's been my experience with the STEM class, and these are some of my projects, and thank you for watching.